Yo, 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 what's up? And welcome back to our final Loki review for this season finale for this wonderful Marvel show that was Loki.
What's happening?
What's going on?
How y'all doing?
I
Good,
am
man.
happy.
That's
too.
I think that is the general consensus around this show and around what happened today, what we saw on screen.
Yeah, we had a
Um
great finale.
this was a
Finale.
great finale. This is
Yeah.
by far the best season finale for a Marvel show that we have gotten easily,
Facts.
hands down,
Facts.
without
Hands
question,
down.
not even close. TKO.
Across platforms too, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would argue that this episode might be the most impactful what was it, 46 minutes of MCU, now MCM history.
Agreed. I would say, I mean, this show more than any feels like it is as important to watch due to this finale as any of the movies that have come out in the MCU thus far. And on top of that, we can't even call it the MCU anymore. It's now the MCM,
What's that about?
Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, because that's what happened. We are now in the multiverse for
Yep.
Marvel.
Hey, the upgrade.
You have been upgraded from a universe to a multiverse. It is here, and it is who knows how long it will stay. But I'm happy. This is probably the most excited I've been about Marvel and the future of Marvel since Infinity War.
Me too. I am now more hyped for future projects than I was yesterday. Like I had kind of not forgotten about, but I haven't been thinking about Spider-Man Far From Home recently. It's just been out of sight, out of mind. There's other things going on. But today gave us the reason for why all of the other Spider-Mans are going to be in the film. Like
Exactly.
we now understand, like there should be no more
Mhm.
confusion on, are they really going to be there? Are they not? No, they're going to be in the film and it's going to be epic. So I'm hyped for that.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, regardless of who signed a contract and who hasn't, or whatever the rumors may be, this finale just confirmed that yes, this multiverse thing is happening. Those rumors about the multiple Spider-Man showing up in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Way
I almost
Home.
said Far From Home.
I got something
No
wrong.
Way Home. That's going to happen. It's totally going to happen. And on top of that, I think, was it Hollywood Reporter today broke the story that Loki is going to be in Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's lit.
No Way
Yeah.
Home. Spider-Man No
in
Way
No
Home.
Way Home. Yes, in No Way Home. So this is going to be a crazy epic scale of a movie. And then I also think that he's going to be in the Multiverse of Madness as well. Like I think him and Kang possibly. I got to check that again. But if I remember correctly, Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man are going to be crazy, crazy, like
Yeah.
epic films.
I mean, Kang spoke a lot in this episode, and although he did not name himself, what did he call himself?
I've been
The
called
last
many
one or
names.
something like that. What was
Yeah, he who shall
it?
not
Final
be.
one.
But
He who
we
remains.
He who remains. He
we
who
gonna call
remains.
him Kang for short because it's easy. But he himself said, "If you think I'm evil, wait till you meet my variants." So we're gonna see a lot of Kang. I would hope that we could see Kang in multiple films too, not just one, and different variants also.
I think that was what was strongly implied. And yes, this is going to be a spoiler filled conversation. Too late now, but yeah, if you hadn't seen the episode and seen the finale, you don't want to be spoiled. You have been warned, but you've already heard a spoiler if that was the case. But yes, Kang is in this, and Jonathan Majors showed up. Let's talk about that a little bit too, because when he showed up, because we've been speculating a lot about whether or not he would show up in this, who was going to be the big bad, especially after it was revealed that the timekeepers were fake. That was the Wizard of Oz.
I synced it.
So it was like, hey, everything, all signs pointed to Kang, but just, WandaVision, all signs pointed to Mephisto and some other characters, and that didn't happen. So we were still hesitant. I was, and there was a lot of trepidation about saying, it's Kang, but I was like, they can't pull this twice. But yeah, I mean, for me watching it, once we get to the elevator, scene, actually even before that, like when in the opening sequence of the movie, I mean, not a movie, well, it did feel like a movie, but of this episode, I think Mobius, they're replaying some dialogue between Mobius and Loki from the first episode where he's saying, you're not the king of the universe, or something to that effect. And I was like, oh man, it's going to be King Loki. Like I'd already kind of sort of tempered my expectations for a King appearance after that. Cause it's like, it seems like that, you know, the show's about Loki. I can see them doing a King Loki type of reveal, but it also would be kind of confusing if they went that route, or maybe it's someone else. But then once the elevator door opens and I saw Jonathan Majors, like that was one of those moments where I wish I had the camera on, because my reaction was like crazy. I definitely like was, I let out some type of yell. It was soft because it was like 7 o'clock in the morning and I didn't want to wake my neighbors up. It was like a song. Let's go. You know, but what would you, I don't know. How about y'all? How did y'all react to seeing Jonathan Majors?
Yeah, I did a little yeah. You know
what I'm saying? You gotta let it out. It's like, hey man, my fear, I ain't gotta worry about it no more. Whatever happens at this point, I'm good.
The Kang is in here. The intro was like, had Kang vibes to it though. For a second I was like, I hope this is not then and now.
Right.
Yeah. Worked out.
If anything, I could just say I was thankful that it was someone that we had speculated and just not something completely left field, because that would have pissed me off. So I was more relieved. Very excited to see Jonathan Majors, but just like, oh, thank goodness it's not something crazy, because I swear I would have been upset. It could have been Loki. It could have been a giant Miss Minutes. It could have been.
We did get a giant Miss Minutes. We did get it.
I would have turned the TV off.
We did get one though. It popped. She popped up at the beginning, and like that was where I was like, nah, this can't be a Loki, because like, even if because I don't understand what is her importance. Why will she like? Why would Loki use that device to misdirect? But anyway.
I said this before, Miss Minutes is mad powerful. Now that the Kang from this episode has died, I don't know if she was his creation, so she may not exist anymore. But then again, we still know that the TVA is a thing, so it's a different version of Miss Minutes. But Miss Minutes exists outside of the TVA. If they showed that in this episode, she's able to pop up wherever she wants to go. So keep your eye out for Miss Minutes.
Park Outdoors says he yelled so loud he thinks he thinks the neighbors called the cops. That's hilarious. Geez.
Yeah, some Trey Songz situation going on.
Oh man, Iron Lad. Oh yeah, that is another alias of Kang. Yeah, speaking of, we forgot to do our due diligence, man. Let us know in the comment section, where did you rank this episode on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's run that through before we get too deep into this. 10. I gave it a 10 as well. 10. I gotta give this one a 10, man. I had to give it a 10. I was just like, you gave me what I asked for.
Yeah, man. I give it, give it 9.5, 9.5.
I think that's the highest score you've given, so you will take it.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's high up there for JBM.
It was a good finale. It was a good finale.
What did you rank the finale of Mandalorian season 2? What'd you give that?
Maybe a 9.75.
I think it was
either that or a 10.
I have no idea. I think he had an issue. I think he had an issue with the fight between.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's his name? Dude from Do the Right Thing.
Hey man,
bugging out. Yeah, bugging out. Yeah, I didn't like his fight scene. Yeah, I think that was
that's what prevented it from getting a 10. But nah, man. Yeah, I had to get this one a 10.
It's hard for me. Perfect score, but I understand a 10 out of 10. No quarrel.
I had to, and it's a scale thing for me. Like it's how this really set. This right here is definitely the foundation for Phase 4. Like we know what Phase 4 and 5 and possibly 6 are going to look like based off of this. This show. You
got a better idea of what the multiverse of madness is going to involve.
Yeah, it's going to be absolute madness. Like Kang is going to be all over everywhere, and I think that was such a cool thing. Like just the idea of Kang being behind everything that's happened in the MCU thus far.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
I said this off camera. This is not a reboot. This is more of a reset. Marvel can do whatever they want now with whoever, whatever character, whether they've been on screen before or not. Like, this is their way of saying we about to do whatever we want.
Yeah, and What If is probably going to have a bigger impact than we were probably thinking, or at least I was, because
Yes.
I thought What If was just going to be a show of hypotheticals, but I mean now it seems like What If could actually be something that we see come to fruition, like that could actually have, you know, with the multiverse and variants going around like this. These variant situations and possibilities are something that can actually happen. Like we've seen with Loki, like they're these characters are like they're gender fluid, they're ethnically fluid, like they can be whatever. Like I mean, even species fluid, like what I'm saying, like Croc Loki, like so we could get variants of Tony Stark, variants of Captain America, variants of characters that we lost after Endgame. Shoot, it even sets up precedents for Michael B. Jordan coming back as Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like all of that is on the table now. Like what I'm saying? Like because of this multiverse happening and this thing forming, like all of these possibilities could Marvel could do whatever they want. Like it's crazy.
They're in a good place from a business point of view. They're in a great place.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I never considered that Marvel would put this much value on the shows, especially since, I mean, they're not making as much money off of the shows as they made the films. But this, like I said, might be the most impactful scene in Marvel history right now. So, yeah, I'm hyped for that. And I'm definitely more hype about What If now. I just thought What If was going to be a thing. We could just, literally what if, sit back, enjoy it, not think too much into it. And now.
Yeah. It's going to have some deeper implications. Like it could absolutely play out. And another thing that it, could set up, this makes it easier for them to introduce the X-Men in the X-Men universe. Like the X-Men were just come from a different universe. Like, the possibilities are endless, and I think it also makes it easier for them to create a compelling Fantastic Four story. Because
go ahead.
Yeah, because I mean, if you focus on the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, Von Doom, and Kang, like that trifecta right there, like that's you're going to need a Reed Richards type character to stop a Kang. Like he's going to be so important in the upcoming conflict within the multiverse.
Yeah, definitely good combo with what's the name of that monster? The dimensional monster,
Elias.
Yeah. So we see Elias now. When I see Elias, I kind of think of Galactus because that's the next best thing that can just devour planets, right?
Yeah. Hopefully they don't make him a cloud, but yes. Yeah. I'm glad Elias wasn't Galactus. That would have been terrible.
Right? Are there more than one Elias, or is it Elias just a single entity?
I think Elias is just. I would hope there's just one.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed based off of how Kang was talking about Elias, like it seems like it's almost like Elias is the thing that kept the multiverse kind of sort of in check. You know what I'm saying? Like if it could devour dimensions, then I'm assuming that that's its purpose is to prune him. That's why he used it to help him conquer the multiversal war.
Just a side note, I really appreciated Jonathan Majors in this role. He absolutely killed it. And I wonder if his performance on Lovecraft Country is what settled it for him. Like, I wonder if that was the nail in the coffin, because I thought he was great in Lovecraft Country, but Jonathan Majors absolutely killed this role. And low-key, when Ravonna was Black, we knew about Jonathan Majors before Loki started. And when Ravonna was Black, I was like, okay, this kind of just sealed the deal for me. Not to say that Marvel has not had interracial relationships on screen before, but they changed the race of Ravonna without any issues, and not too many people complained. And so I was like, Jonathan Majors is absolutely going to be king.
Who was Ravonna?
Ravonna, the Judge Renslayer.
Oh, oh,
Yes.
okay,
And in
okay.
the comics, they were kind of an item. And I believe that a version of Kang put her in the TVA and is kind of watching over her through like statues and all that jazz and witness minutes because he wanted her and she wasn't interested.
So
Just
in the comics, they have a situationship.
yes.
Yep, yep. And I think I like how they set it up in this show, more so than because in the comics it's like really it's almost archaic because he's just trying to get her to marry him, and she's a princess on some other world. It's very similar to the Thanos and Mistress Death scenario where like Thanos is basically doing everything he did in Infinity War to please or to get her attention, Mistress Death attention, and it was kind of sort of similar with the King and Ravonna whole situation. But then like he does something kind of heroic, and then that's what gets her to fall for him. But I like how they handled this whole thing in this in the show because she's bought into the whole concept of what the TV is and what it stands for. And so like that kind of it's like a like-minded thing, so they're kind of the same mind. And so because she's so diehard about keeping the TVA active, I think it helps make a better relationship set up between those two characters.
I was hyped that the TVA was still standing at the end of the show. Although I did feel like with Hunter B-15, speaking to the rest of the agents, that it would get dismantled. However, we know that in the comics, someone who has a lot of beef with the TVA is Reed Richards, and in fact, he is brought before the TVA or the Timekeepers on multiple occasions because him and the Council of Reeds are just doing wild stuff. So to see that the TVA is still standing gets me hype, and we will see them some more. I'm convinced of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because that whole monologue that Jonathan Majors did as he was describing like who he was and like how the multiverse of war began is very similar. Like Reed Richards had a very similar council to Kang. Like Kang had his own council of Kangs from different universes. Reed Richards has his own council, but they took completely different paths. Like, and I think that's part of because they are related. Or Kang is a descendant of Reed Richards. He's from the 31st century, but his real name is
Marsupial.
no, Nathaniel Richards. I almost got I kept wanting to say like Jonathan Richards, but it's Nathaniel Richards is his real name. And he's going by different names as he was describing throughout. And I'm glad he didn't name drop himself. Like I'm glad he didn't call himself Kang because that's just a name. I'm glad they're saving that for later, and I wonder if they'll actually use the name Nathaniel Richards at some point. Something else too I'm curious about is if what version of Kang, what variant of Kang is that, because a lot of people online have been talking about it's Prime Kang, which is the original Kang from the 31st century, or is this Immortus, which is a different variant who is far more powerful. He's got it seems to be kind of sort of a mix of both. He seems like to me some of Immortus and then some of Prime King, the way he described himself. So I think we'll explore that too. I hope that we'll see Immortus at some point. I was talking off camera. I said that the statue at the end of the episode in the TVA, I'm thinking that's probably a statue of the Immortus King. But he's not lying when he says that all of his variants are way worse than he is, because they've done some crazy stuff, at least in the comics.
Kang, man. What kind of threw me off in that episode, he offered Loki and the Loki variant like control and kill Thanos and all that, and they said no. and then when he got in front of him, he offered them his position. Now, was he offering them the same thing before they met him face to face, or did he change the proposition?
Well, I think because he said I think the crux of his argument was that he had worked out a way for them to exist on the same timeline together. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that was them taking the throne. Like that was the way for them to exist in the same timeline and have whatever they wanted. Because if they're in control of the TVA, then yes, they can create whatever outcome they want in that way. So them defeating Thanos, Sylvie never being on the run, like all that stuff never has to happen if they're the keepers of the sacred timeline.
Mm.
I also
Okay.
think he offered that, just hoping that they would take it, that was the thing that they would want the most, because he truly did not know the outcome. As we saw in the episode, they passed the threshold. All of the time that he had known to be written down had ended for him in that moment, not necessarily everybody, but just for him. So he had no idea what they would choose. And I mentioned this off camera, taking it back to episode 3. There was the moment before they died on Lamentis, or they were going to die on Lamentis, where they looked like they were going in for a kiss, and everybody thought, it was the two Lokis becoming better people and accepting fate that made the branch go up. But after this episode, I believe that the branch was going straight up because they were not supposed to die there. They absolutely were supposed to get saved. That way they could kill Kang in this moment, or specifically Sylvie could kill Kang. Just like he said, everything that was happened, that was written. So it was written for this particular Loki variant to come to the TVA to find Sylvie, and for Sylvie and him to get there in that moment. And I don't think Sylvie broke time. I mean, she did, but I think what Sylvie did by killing him was supposed to happen anyway. Like, for example, if the multiversal war did not happen, there would be no reason for him to have created the TVA in the first place. So this is probably just the start of whatever is going to make them end in that place to begin with.
I can dig it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like, and it goes back to what he said about the journey. Like, you can't skip the journey. Like, you got to go on you have to grow from the journey. You can't just skip to the end. I think all of that is speaking to what you just said. Like, you know, that whole this whole finale. I mean, that I love There wasn't a lot of action in this episode, but everything that needed to be answered was, and everything that needed to be set up for the future properties is, and like, this is definitely a series that if you're wanting to follow the MCU moving forward, or the MCM moving forward, you have to watch this show, because they're just gonna stuff is gonna happen. You're gonna see variants. You're gonna see different versions of characters that appear in different movies going forward, and this show really does a good job of explaining how all of that comes to be. I'm pretty sure they'll write these shows not shows, but movies, in a way that you'll still be able to follow along. But if you really want an understanding of how, phase 4 and 5 are what they are, this shows is a must watch.
Most definitely. Do
That's
y'all have any?
they made, huh?
I was seeing what Ducky Momo said. What's the
They made
details on that?
Wanda and Quicksilver different kids from Magneto, so they could change Kang's lineage. Although the Fantastic Four are just around the corner. Ducky Momo, what I hope is they use this event to, I don't know, bring Magneto into it somehow. I mean, they could be his kids in another universe. We got to get the X-Men at some point. This is their way to do it. So maybe in one universe they're not his kids, but in another universe they are.
Is Kang's?
I think so. I
Is
think
Kang
also
related to them?
No, he's saying about Kang's connection to Reed Richards.
Yeah, the lineage, the connection. Um, Also,
Oh, I'm okay. I'm reading that.
the Speed and Wiccan too. That's this whole the multiverse event at the end of this episode. Like, I'm wondering where in time within the MCU this takes place, because when she's hearing Speed and Wiccan, to me that seems to be when the sacred timeline erupts, basically when it goes past the point of no return. And that Wanda can hear Speed and Wiccan because she's hearing a multiversal version of Speed and Wiccan calling out through whatever dimension, however they're doing that. Like, this show just kind of sort of set all that, and like it, in my opinion, that allows for that to even happen, because they were in this reality in the 616, they were just fabrications from her own mind, but in another universe, like, they could be completely real. Like, she and Vision could have had the life that they wanted to have, and that the Speed and Wiccan that you're hearing is from that version or that multiverse or that universe.
So I think, to answer your question as far as when this break in the timeline happens, I think it happens at all times. I think Earth 616 was the sacred timeline that the TVA spoke about. But once Sylvie kills him and no one is no longer controlling the TVA, because as we know, time works differently in the TVA. Time breaks everywhere. So just like Kang said, he's from the 31st century, but we already know No Way Home is going to take place after Far From Home at some point. So I think time just all over the place. There are now more possibilities.
Now, is it that time broke everywhere, or this one universe, the sacred timeline, is now open to the rest of the universes?
I
He
think
made a comment like he isolated this particular universe, this particular timeline. He isolated from the rest of the multiversal war. Is that right?
I think what happens is
Yeah.
no one is no longer keeping one sacred timeline. The universes are now able to be connected again.
And free will exists.
Right.
That's the big thing. Free will exists. Like, there's no one controlling or dictating what action is correct and which is not.
Can I just say one thing that made me sad? We never found out why Sylvie was taken. I just thought that would happen at some point. And Ravonna said, I don't know, when Sylvie asked what she did wrong. I thought they were going to wrap that up, but they didn't. That made me a little sad. But that's not a knock on the episode. That's a knock on the show. Like, why even do that to me if you weren't going to tell me? I wanted to know. I was invested.
Yeah, I'm glad Sylvie followed through with her plan to kill Kang.
Yeah, me too.
Glad that, yeah.
I'm glad they kept it true to their characters. Like, that was a theme throughout the whole show. Like, he can't be trusted and she doesn't trust anyone. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that theme for those characters stayed true throughout. And I think for each of the characters, Mobius, Ravonna, like, everyone basically was, they all changed, they all grew, but they basically were who they are for the duration of the show.
I do think, though, that this particular Loki was the only Loki that became better as a person. So I think we're going to see him continue on his path of righteousness and running into other Lokis that are just still gung-ho on doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they threw him in a separate timeline. Like, Sylvie put him in I don't know if she did that on purpose, or I don't know if that's Kang's part of Kang's plan. We also know that whatever information he gave to Ravonna is also key to his plot. Like, I think that's why I don't know if I said this already, but like, the ultimatum he gave them was not really an ultimatum. Like, he knew that regardless of what they chose, whether they chose to kill him or take the throne, he was going to end back up on the sacred timeline throne. Like, I think Ravonna is his contingency plan. I think the information that he gave to her is going to help him navigate back to that end point. Because I like the way I see it, like, Kang, he's offering Loki and Sylvie the throne to do whatever they want to, but if they did that, right, like, the sacred timeline is still going to be corrupted. Like, they're not going to do what he was doing, which is guiding the sacred timeline to one point where he is basically the ruler of the multiverse. And And so I think the timeline, regardless, would have collapsed either way, and that would have unleashed the variants. And then one of these variants is going to become him and do what he did in the first place. I think that's what he was alluding to.
I want to respond to Ducky Momo about saying how awesome would it be if this good Kang set up some kind of failsafe or hidden timeline that would be used to save the day at the end of 5 or 6 or the version of Infinity War. And I just want to comment on the good Kang part. I don't want to call this Kang good Kang. I think this is definitely a Kang, but for all we know, this could be a bad Kang that realized that, yo, I destroyed everything. Like the multiversal war could have been so bad that there was nothing left. You can't conquer nothing if you destroy it all. So this could very well be, a bad Kang who wanted to come back and just create something to be in control of. Because I mean, by controlling the TVA and creating the TVA and sitting in that castle, he is, he has conquered the timeline in that way. So this very well could be a bad Kang too.
Yeah, I think it's the lesser of evils in this regard. It's not there's no good Kang. It's just he's the lesser of all of the variant evils that are out there that existed in the multiverse.
God bless you.
Or at least in his opinion.
Y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless you for that.
That was from all the way upstairs.
Miss Minutes definitely did something after she left the Lokis. I'm telling y'all, Miss Minutes is up to something, okay? Also, I need Miss Minutes merch. I don't know where I'm gonna find it, but I'm having Miss Minutes t-shirt.
Kang put his brain DNA in Miss Minutes algorithm.
I was about to say that was a theory that I had on one of the episodes on one of these reviews, was that Miss Minutes was 31st century technology that Kang was using in order to control the TVA. I thought he was using Miss Minutes to control the TVA, but it seems like that is his way of communicating with Ravonna and the rest of the agents, and he's there and in his throne basically doing what the timekeepers was supposed to be doing, which was dictating what course of action people within the sacred timeline should be taking.
You just brought up something. So you mentioned 31st century technology. We don't know for sure what generation, 31st what? Century. We don't know what century Kang is getting anything from, because just like the time works differently with the TVA, he's so, I don't want to say powerful because he is human. He is so smart that it's different for him also. He could be taking technology from any time period, any year that he chooses. I mean, he was able to set the sacred timeline. So he knows of all time, basically. He knows what's going to happen no matter what. So that being said, I think that he did a lot of studying of Tony Stark, because in this episode, the little pad thing he had on his wrist resembles very much the time machine used by the Avengers in Endgame, the one that they put on their hand that helped them go in and out. They called it a time GPS. It was like a bar that went across their hand, and there were like 2 prongs on either side of their hand that held it on their hand. The thing that he had today looked like an advanced version of that. I said all that to say that he is so smart and he has done so much that he has access to whatever technology from any time, and he's been able to put his own spin on it and make it better.
Well, to add to that, to strengthen that point, there's a variant of Kang that becomes Iron Lad, which is an Iron Man, just Nathaniel Richards' version of Iron Man. He's the Kang version of Iron Man, so that could very well be his own. He probably engineered it, but yes, it is Stark tech from basically the 31st or later century. And yeah, he can pull technology from any century, any point in time. Like, he is the master of time.
Yeah, he said he'd been alive for eons, right?
Yeah, he's from the 31st century, but he's been around for like countless years. I believe 1,000 years.
1,000? A millennium? A millennia?
Eon.
Eon.
EON. Oh, it's
You're
a
right.
billion years. It's a billion years.
I definitely typed
A
Ion. That's
billion.
my
And he
business.
said eons.
Yeah, he said he's billions of years old.
How though if he's human?
How old
He's the
is Earth?
master of time.
In his master time, he should be able to travel as much as he wants, wherever he wants. I mean, he's probably the only person who saw the dinosaur.
And time works different where he's at. Like
Yeah. Oh,
I
really?
think he's
So
within
what's
a
the?
I think he's inside of a black hole, and if he's inside of a black hole, time doesn't pass, or at least that's what we theorize. That inside of a black hole, time does not move at all; it's completely still.
What do you mean in the
So
void?
yeah, he could exist in the void for billions of years without aging, without because time doesn't pass there. So
At the
yeah,
end of time, right?
yeah,
They said the void was at the end of time. Okay.
That's facts because Kid Loki was still Kid Loki. And they made it clear he had been there for a while and he was not to be played with. So we don't know how long they've been there.
Oh man.
yeah. I hope we see those Loki
Double
variants again.
time
That was
shift.
fun
Okay.
too, and confirmation at the end of season 2 coming.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
That
I'm
Loki
definitely
that conjured up Asgard, that was dope.
yeah. That was
That's
fire.
Loki.
Yeah, that was
I
dope.
hope we can see him again.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean that's Richard E. Grant. Like they've got to get him back. Like that's just like casting Harborough for Red Guardian and not using him anymore. Like he'll be back. That's why last episode I said I don't think his character is dead, or at least we'll see him again in his proper timeline probably.
Mm.
the Uncle mentioned the MCU casting. They have, I don't think they've made a bad casting decision in my mind for a while. Like they cast very well, and based on who they cast, it's sometimes easy to see who will be back. Like Owen Wilson, we're gonna see him again.
Oh yeah, he's in season 2. Like if we don't see him before, he's definitely coming back for season 2. I think that's all. I think that's been
Now
confirmed though.
will they show another Kang in season 2?
That depends on what season 2 is about.
I feel like season 1 was enough. Like when I saw season 2, I was like, oh, where are they gonna take this? So
I don't
I'll wait and see.
I don't disagree with you, JBM. I really felt like this was going to be a nice wrap up, but it is called the Loki show. So if we do see Kang in it, it's going to be centered more about Loki and his travels. I mean, right now we saw that he is in the TVA in a different universe, so he might be going through it there. Yeah, or it could be about him trying to make other Lokis better. We don't know. But I definitely agree with you. I thought it was just going to be a one and done, and I wouldn't be mad if it was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Tom Hiddleston and Jonathan Majors and the actress. I forgot what is her name. The actress who plays Sylvie. I want to see all of them on screen acting across from one another more definitely. So even I think the show possibly could be about Loki trying to fix the timeline, whatever that looks like, because we don't know when and how often we will see Loki in the MCM now. So we don't know if he'll get back to. We don't know if we'll see Thor and Loki back on screen together, but like I could see this show going in a direction where he's trying to find different people, different variants that can help bring this chaotic multiverse back into some sort of form of order, or to stop Kang. Like it's a good way to possibly introduce Reed Richards at some point. I don't know, man. There's a lot of possibilities with it. Like we could see Ant-Man. I could see Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, other characters from the MCU and MCM coming into the show to make guest appearances. Like, because they could really blow the doors open on this series moving forward.
Now, Multiverse of Madness is already done. Like production over. release date set. We're just waiting for the movie to come out.
I believe so. I'm gonna double check on the date right now. If it's coming out this year, then the answer is yes.
I believe it's coming out first quarter next year.
So maybe okay. There's a season 2 Loki. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking how all this pieces together. Maybe Loki won't be in the Multiverse of Madness.
They have him listed on the cast.
Oh yeah.
They have both. Who is they? Who is these they I speak of? This is the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness Wikipedia page. So you know what? Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't know who wrote this.
Yeah. Because that's If he's in that, then that means somehow he comes off the TVA, and I don't. So I'm just kind of. I'll wait. I'll see what happens.
Honestly, that's how I feel about a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna sit back. I'm trying to figure out how the Eternals are gonna fit into all of this.
I forgot about the Eternals.
Yeah, that's coming out in November.
There's mad shows, movies coming out. Excuse me. What comes out first? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Well, I think What If comes out first, and then
it's first films.
Oh, films, yeah. It's Shang-Chi, then the Eternals,
and then Far From Home, and then
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, we're gonna get four Marvel films in like 6 months. That's madness.
Yeah. Plus the TV shows. Because the What If show, you got the Hawkeye show. She-Hulk is also coming out in this year too.
This year, She-Hulk?
I do believe. Let me double check.
Who's cast as She-Hulk?
Who was not big and green. That was a joke. Y'all could laugh.
Oh, never mind. It's 2022. I missed it
on the inside.
Never mind. Okay, that's early 2022. So Hawkeye and What If are the remaining shows on the docket for this year.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought so. I did because I hadn't heard anything about She-Hulk coming out this year.
I think the only official release date is What If. Yeah. Hawkeye and Miss Marvel are also supposed to come out this year, but we don't have release dates yet.
Okay.
And then 2022, we're supposed to get Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and Secret Invasion.
Holiday Special?
Yeah, they're releasing a holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy in around Christmas time 2022. And then if they do release it, then we will get Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in 2023.
Okay, all right.
Tatiana Maslany is cast as She-Hulk.
Who's that? You bring her up?
She's from Canada.
Canada. She's Canadian. Don't you know? While you bringing that up, did y'all notice what Kane was wearing on his feet? Those Jesus One sandals.
There was some cookout sandals.
He's from the year 3100.
Listen, Dad still got a grill.
Hey, man.
Wow, man.
Hey, a classic is a classic.
Sandals.
Listen, the burger.
He had the Velcro sandals.
There was Mark Ruffalo, Tim Roth are also supposed to appear in She-Hulk.
Tatiana. She popping up?
So from what I understand too is that they are also supposed to is that setting up Planet Hulk?
I got you, JBM.
Okay. She-Hulk. Oh, there's a side by side. So she's green. Okay. Some reason I thought she was purple.
Purple Hulk?
Yeah. I feel like I've seen a purple Hulk, She-Hulk.
Let me do my Googles. Yeah. Okay, question. Are we rating this show on the gumbo list?
If we do that box, it opens up the rest of them. I'm gonna say I'm down either way. I'm down,
We
but if
can.
we do that, it
Well,
opens
first we have to rank the show. When do we want to do the show ranks, the TV shows? Because that we only have done the movies. We haven't gone into any of the other property from Marvel.
There's only 3 right now out, right?
I'm gonna hold
But
y'all.
we also got like, yeah, we got Hawkeye coming out too at the end
Yeah,
of
we
the
should
year.
probably.
So you know what? What if we don't rank shows right now? What if we let the shows run, and then once we have a group of them, we can rank them all, and we can rank them in comparison to the Netflix ones. But I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I'm not finishing Iron Fist.
You're not missing.
Oh, I
nothing.
forgot about that.
And I'm
Oh
not.
gosh,
What
we'd
was
have
it?
to rank
Marvel
those.
Defenders? Was it Defenders? I'm not watching that because
Defenders was okay.
they
Defenders was
canceled all the
alright.
shows, so I do not care. I'm not watching anything
Mm.
else. I didn't even finish season 2 of
Lobbying for Ragnarok.
whatchamacallit. Mama, we moved it up yesterday. What more do y'all want from us? And JBM and I agreed that we are going to watch Thor Ragnarok again, and we can come back next week and move it up. Okay. All right. This persistent bullying is getting out of hand. We already agreed what we need to do. Okay. God.
Yeah, the uncool agrees.
I don't know why I fell asleep on it, but that's what I did.
It didn't capture me either, but I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do.
All right.
Okay, so
that's-
release dates right now for this does not have no, it does have TV shows. Hawkeye, it was Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel's coming out this year.
Oh, that's the little girl.
I
Yeah,
just said that.
Yeah, Imani did just say that. She did say that.
I was in the
She-Hulk or
zone.
something.
I was no, it's coming out after Hawkeye. It just says late 2021 for Hawkeye and for Miss Marvel. Moon Knight is coming out in 2022. She-Hulk 2022. It's the same list. Oh yeah, you were reading those. This might be the same. Was this from CNET?
I think Imani just went down.
I'm on a different thing now, so I don't know. Oh yeah, CNET.
Okay,
CNET.
never mind. I'm reading from the same list then.
But back to that this season finale. What was y'all's favorite part about this episode? I can say mine was the visuals. I really like the visual design of Kang's castle.
I
really like that concept.
I don't know that whole the set looked exactly like the basement from WandaVision. It just had a different.
Ugh.
It's the same, like it's exact same layout. The way that whole thing was set up.
It was not. Do it side by side.
It had the
It
pillars.
had floors.
Yeah, but see, I think it was shot on the volume because it was circular as well. Like I could tell, like the design was very similar. Like they just gave it a facelift. Like they extended the pillars, the columns, the doors, of course. Like, but it's very similar, the architecture of that space.
You know what? That being said, there was a lot of stuff filmed on the volume in Loki. The scene when they were on Lamentis on the train and they were in
That was definitely on the volume.
the train where it was like a bar. It was a circular room.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of
most of that
green
set
screen
seemed to
work.
be on the volume.
Yeah, we could see it.
For me, there are two parts that are exciting. The fact that the TVA is still standing at the end of the episode, I'm hyped about that. And just the fact that we got to see Jonathan Majors as Kang. Like I said, I wasn't trying to speculate too much, but I was very surprised to see him there and very excited. So yeah, I would say those two up there for me.
Yeah. Well, it was a good sign for me, as soon as Jonathan Majors popped up, and then from the rest of that, that's my favorite part of the of the show, because everything beyond that point was fire. But it was a very good sign that when we went back and looked at when it was that rumor broke that he was going to be in Quantum Mania, it was during filming for the Loki show. Is when that announcement came out, and they hadn't announced anybody else for the show. The show hadn't even begun pre-production, like or not show, but the movie. It was so far in advance of the show coming out, of the movie coming out. It was kind of odd they even made that announcement. Like, I think a lot of people assumed that due to the success of Lovecraft Country, they wanted to get the news out that Jonathan Majors was coming to the MCU, which I believe played a major part in it. But the casting and the timing around it all seemed to work out for him appearing in the Loki show.
I'm really happy about that. The captain's log, if it happens, maybe we could do it not Thursday, Friday night or Sunday. But I'm a little hesitant because I want to hate in peace. And if we have a watch party, y'all will be yelling at me. So, we'll see. But I will put it on the table. I'll think about it.
You might could do that. Some real time action. 2K speech.
Oh, he's saying his favorite moments between Kang's speech and then Loki not being recognized by Mobius. I think it was you, Ducky Momo, who said earlier in the chat that he looked like old boy at the end of Planet of the Apes when instead of Abraham Lincoln, it was an ape. That's exactly how he was looking at the end when he turned and saw that Kang statue.
Yeah.
I don't know where the comment is, but I know you said that. I think it was you who said that.
That's wild. But that's got to be season 2.
How much of Kang's speech do y'all think was improvised? The line when he said his nose was definitely improvised.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love that part.
I love that.
Yay, I feel that. I feel every piece of this.
Definitely. Like
speech was up there.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of improvising done in that monologue. I mean, everything that he did, I'm pretty sure there was a lot that he added in and added his own style and flavor. Like, I love the inflections that he used. I love, his performance just all around was great.
Have y'all seen The Last Black Man in San Francisco?
I have not.
Nope.
When I first saw him being Kang in this episode, I was like, okay. I saw little semblances of his performance in that movie. I
need to add that to my watch list. Is it still on Prime? I'm gonna check.
I have no idea.
I watched
a great movie. It's great in the beginning, and then it just starts to tail off. For me,
I watched today's episodes a few times to prepare for the show today, and I would say by the third watch, Kang's speech is the only thing I paid full attention to. Like
he had all the answers. He was like, he told us everything we were looking for.
Yeah, and that's been a very consistent theme within the show. Like, anytime they introduce a mystery, they answer it, and then they add another mystery to the story, and then in the following episode, they'll answer that mystery and introduce a new one. And they did that the entire show, and then now we've gotten to the finale, and he had all the answers, and it just set up everything going forward, which was good. I mean, that's just a great way to do a season finale, especially for a property in a franchise that is now TV shows and movies, and everything is connected. It's just a great way to do that.
I'm trying to think, do I have anything else? This was a great episode. I'm really hyped. I want to watch the whole series again.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna rewatch it.
Can I rate the series as a whole?
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna give the show a 10. I have no reason not to.
It's probably, based on how I've ranked everything, a 9.5, because I don't think I've ever dipped below a 7 on my episodes. I'm gonna read out the rankings in the chat, but hey, if y'all are up to it in the comments, let us know where you rank this entire series on a scale of 1 to 10. We did ask for the rankings earlier in the episode of this episode, so if you haven't done that, please do that now. I'm going to read them out. The Uncool gave it a 10 out of 10. Captain's Law gave it a 9.75 out of 10. Ducky Momo, 9.5. Park Outdoors, a 10 out of 10.
Those were for this episode, right?
Yeah, that's for this episode. Gave it a 9 out of 10 for the season finale. And am I missing anyone's ranking?
Mom gave it the lowest score, and it's still a 9.
Definitely up there. I would say that this series as a whole, I would, yeah. Oh no, I did say 9.5. I did say 9.5. So that's where I get the series. If you're in the comments, let us know where you put this, where you rank it for the entire series.
I gotta sit on it the entire series. I'm in between. What I tell y'all earlier? 8.75.
That's what you said. Season finale of that was
the episode.
5.
Okay, yeah. That was not. I'm hovering around a
9.5.
I'm hovering around a 9.
Ducky Moments is a 9 for the entire series. It met my expectations. They were high. The perfect 10 would have to have exceeded my expectations.
You know, I can dig that.
See, for me,
oh yeah, I'm not gonna go into a series without any expectations, man. I stay in the rumor mill. I got, you know what I'm saying, speculation. I got to know what's going on. But I would say as a compliment to Marvel and what they did with this series, I'd have to liken it to The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, where they seem to have a good command of the source material and also of the speculation and things that have been, just an understanding of the fan base and not doing fan service, but creating, moments within the series that fans would appreciate and enjoy. And there's a lot of it within the series, and the payoffs are also there. Then that's the key. Like you have to also have the payoffs. Like that was the good thing about season 2 of The Mandalorian. That's the potential I saw in The Mandalorian. In season 1, I saw there was a lot of things, a lot of deep cuts into the lore that not every average fan would appreciate, but a lot of the hardcore fans would. And there's a lot of those just sprinkled throughout this series, and they serve an important part in this, an important aspect to the whole writing of the story. So none of it is throwaway. It's all important to the plot, and that's always good, because then you just hit a wider range of your audience and your fan base.
Yeah, man, I can dig that.
The Uncool, did I read this? He gave it a 9.
Strongest of the batch of the Disney Plus shows. I would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I said it before on the show that it felt like this was the first show that kept up with The Mandalorian as far as production quality. And now I can say that I would put this equal to The Mandalorian. Like, this is the...
Yeah, I can feel that.
I need everything else from Disney Plus, Marvel and Disney Plus to be at this caliber. This was great.
And I think this Loki series has good playback value.
Yeah.
Like, I could watch this series again and be just as entertained.
Yeah. I need to go back and watch episode 2 again. I don't even remember it much.
Hey, shout out to Owen Wilson though. Low key.
Wow.
So I was watching the Den's live stream this morning, and somebody in the comments said they had to give the show a 9 out of 10 because Owen Wilson never said wow.
That's one of he didn't. Wow.
He should.
He did give a how.
He switched it up.
He had some OWs in there, so that was no wows though.
He did say what? If that works.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Now, wow.
If you type in Owen Wilson, Loki is
Wow.
now above WoW. But there's every Owen Wilson WoW in chronological order.
Oh
There's
man.
Really? Oh, somebody had time.
a lot of time, but it is very entertaining. I'm gonna drop that in the
Oh.
chat for anybody who's really interested
Wow.
in nonsense. Wow.
Oh man. That popped in. I can't compare Ducky Momo says I can't compare Loki to Mando. My man said
Oh
it's
yeah. Ducky put
way
Star Wars
different
on a different level.
for a Marvel versus a Star Wars show.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I would say for me, I'm not talking about the show itself. I'm talking about the production quality. Now, that being said, Star Wars, this is standard for them. They only go high. But as far as Mando being the first show presented to us by Disney Plus, as far as the Marvel or Star Wars universes, I was expecting Marvel to emulate that, and I was let down. The production of this show felt on par with Mando. So that's just where I was, not specifically everything else.
yeah. I think I know what he's saying, and I agree because with what you just said. But like Star Wars, because my knowledge of the lore is a lot more extensive than my knowledge of Marvel. Like when I watch Marvel shows, most of the time I'm just there for entertainment, and then I go and I hang out in those, over on the Den, and in those other groups just to see what everybody's talking about, just get my help. They help me learn about the series and different characters and different events that happen that I'm not privy to. But with Star Wars, for the most part, I'm like, I know how this is supposed to work, and so my expectations are a lot different. As far as like what needs to happen in order for it to be good Star Wars, So, yeah, I
It's
get
your
it though.
area of expertise.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you go to if you go to a show, to a concert as a musician, you're gonna have a different experience than someone who's not a musician. Like you're going to be analyzing the just the overall quality of the production and the set design, stage design, everything about it. I'm pretty sure same with filmmakers and anyone who's just a creative going to watch something within their craft.
I now have higher expectations as far as production quality for the rest of the Marvel shows. What If is done, but it's also animated, so we are going to see style there. I mean, Miss Marvel needs to be on par with that.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, and it's
That's true.
Feige did say something about this show being more impactful to the MCU than the other shows thus far. I think he said that in January, around the time WandaVision was out. So it's good to see that was actually the case. And when he says that, like, now this is what I'm going to be expecting. Like, if he says that this is going to be very impactful, I'm expecting this level of impact from that show.
This was crazy good. I am really excited. Just in general, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I also am starting to get hyped for the rest of the films. I said it a few weeks ago that I did not care. I hadn't even watched the Shang-Chi trailer because I wasn't sure the films were actually going to come out, and I wasn't going to get hyped until I saw WandaVision. After seeing WandaVision and now this show is wrapped up in this way, I am now excited for Marvel as a whole.
That was my chair, by the way.
That's what he wants us to think.
Oh, gastric.
All right. Well, I think that's everything I have to say on this episode. How about you all? We got anything else you want to add?
I think that's all.
Or can we wrap this up?
We can wrap it up. You got Bad Batch on Friday?
Yes, Bad Batch this Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be going over episode 12, which will premiere 3 o'clock in the morning Friday. I will not be up to watch that. I will wake up early in the morning, as I usually do, and watch it. I'll probably hop on. I think Star Wars Santa does a morning stream, a watch party, so I'll probably be in the chat for that. But I'll check that out, and then you'll come over to this channel if you watch that episode and hear my breakdown and review of the episode. We're in the middle of a two-part arc for the show, so definitely looking forward to reviewing how this concludes, because we saw some returning characters and some new faces from other properties like Clone Wars and Rebels, so some fan favorites, Harrison Dula and Chopper, as well as
Chopper style.
on Free Tao from the Clone Wars and from Attack of the Clones, because I believe that's when we first see him. But yeah, man, that's fun. Loved. I'm enjoying the show. That show is definitely not for everybody, but I see, like, just like Mandalorian season 1, I see the potential of what this show can be in the future, and I'm hyped. Definitely hyped for it.
As y'all know, next week on the Cookout, we're talking Emmy nominations. We're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite superhero costumes in film, and then I'm sure there's going to be more news as more and more people watch this episode of Loki. So thank you for watching. As always, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at Certified Gumbo. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel if you have not already. As always, please support us by buying us some coffee. The link is in the description bar below. And again, we talk about this stuff all day, every day on the Discord. Please join us on Discord. And the Captain's Log, I will think about the watch party for Thor Ragnarok. We haven't done that in a while, so it would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we could probably watch it and then do a watch party after once everyone's got a refresher on the movie and wants to.
I'm cool with doing a live watch party for Ragnarok
to gauge it. But
I was thinking like we would be on Discord, everybody press play at the same time, and then we just chat.
I think we can share screen in the Discord, so we should be able to. I think we should be able to do that. Do it that way. I think we can test it, but either way, one of those methods will work. 3 countdown, because we can hop into the
play
or into, we could do a stage for a live stream, and then we'll just be the commentators, and then we'll do a countdown from the stage, and then everybody press play at the same time. Do it that way. Do something. We'll figure it out.
Bring your favorite bottle. Get your drink on.
Yeah, if you of age, to do so.
Bottle didn't have to be liquor. It could be apple juice.
Get your drink on.
Be Capri Sun.
Absolutely. Whatever you feel and can drink, do drink. Also,
I was gonna let that just.
Before we go, I wasn't gonna let it slide. Cat 29. I hope you have recovered from what you saw today. I hope you feel enlightened somehow. Maybe, I don't know, there was a lesson in there for you to learn. You were destined to be in that moment at that time to watch that man eat that whole watermelon.
Hey, I'm calling Cat on Cat.
Cat 29, talk to us about it in the Discord. I want to know what's going on. Are you?
Ain't no way.
Hey.
Speaking of the Discord, make sure you go use those emojis. We've got custom emojis for the Discord now been uploaded, so those are there for you to use. Please use them. There'll be more. I think we've got a cap of 50, and I think we're at 30. So we got 20 more. If you got any suggestions for any emojis, let us know in the Discord as well. We'll take them into consideration.
Gumbo. And, we got a gumbo emoji.
Yeah, that's like the first one. The logo is the emoji.
All right, cool.
Yeah, man, you got go check them out, man. Check them out, see what they are.
But
it's in the announcements. If you want to see all of the emojis that we have, the custom emojis, they are in the announcements tab in the Discord. Definitely go check those out and see what they are. But yeah,
terrible. But you get it.
That glare was severe. But that's all I got to say. I think we'll end this episode here. And as I always say, peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you always.
Yes, sir.